Yeah, here we go. Mark, Brian, Charles, Eric, Brady, Dan. This is the end of the year Mark 2.0 music special. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
It's great to see you all again. I feel like I made like a lot of friends this year, and really, you guys are our musical friends. And I want to thank first Brady. He was with us very early on and shared literally his whole life with us. Brady is a very he's an up-and-coming actor, and he's an amazing guitar player. And he likes to mix the two, and he does a great job of it. And so all of our viewers, get over to Brady on Instagram and follow him, because he will keep you entertained. His Instagram channel, or whatever you want to call it, it's very entertaining, and it is a good place to really get to know Brady, because he does share a lot. And Brady, thank you for being here. It's great to see you again.
Thank you so much.
So where are you? South Carolina?
Yeah. Fort Mill, Charlotte area.
Is it super cold? Did you get wailed on?
I don't even know, because I mean, one day it's, the wind's high, it's like 20 degrees, and then the next day it's 60. I'm like, all right, well, at least I got a little taste of, the Christmas weather.
I'm in Phoenix, and that's about what we got. That is intriguing.
Yeah, right.
That is intriguing. Eric, where are you right now?
I am Toledo, Ohio.
Nice.
Ohio. Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
sir.
Ohio. See, Ohio does still exist, everybody.
Oh,
The memes
Yeah,
are not.
that's horrible.
What? They're not
We
true.
are here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let me tell everybody, our listeners, if you have not heard of Jump, Jump is America's most awesome Van Halen tribute band ever. Okay, these guys
They really are
turning this into a really good business, and it's going to go really, really far. Eric is an 18-year-old drummer, and
right.
Let me tell you, doing old Van Halen is no easy task. So, Eric, you're doing a fantastic job, and thanks for being here again.
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Great
for
to
having
see you.
me.
All right.
And of course, behold the t-shirt.
The impliers.
The impliers are here again.
Charles and Dan.
Guys, I've been bragging on you since we met, because I think you have fed me the most unique and interesting damn media I've ever ingested in my life. And I love to sit there and try to pick it apart. And I am just really shocked at the level of effort that you guys put into your music, your videos, your marketing. Can I ask Dan, since I've been talking to you for a little while, we're waiting on Charles. Welcome, Charles. Good to see you landed safely from France.
Can you hear me? Do you hear?
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You are perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound great.
That's crazy, because I would never have expected this to work by myself without someone helping me. So
I've forgotten all about that.
you forgot that I suck at computers, and yeah.
No, yeah, we forgot all about that.
It's a routine.
It was fate, Charles, for you to be here.
Yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought. So let's talk to Charles then. Charles, did you just go to France?
Yes, I did. I just got back.
You spent a week in France. Why were you in France?
I went with my wife's family. They just decided to include me on a family trip. So I got to be a family member with them and go to France. The only other country I've been to is Mexico. So it was cool.
Now you know that you're officially part of your wife's family. Congrats.
Yeah, I didn't do anything too messed up to get completely disbarred or banned from the family. So yeah, it was fine. I saw the Mona Lisa.
Wow.
It was it looks just like you would think. It hangs on a wall. And I must say this.
No one tried to throw paint
Um,
on it today, I guess.
That's what I tried to smuggle in a can of soup and some super glue. But yeah, the French, they had the French military there to keep you out, like for real. They were not letting soup in.
Hmm.
Wow.
And but I have to, the one thing that really stood out in my mind that was so cliche and is true is that I was counting them. I lost count around 10 of people walking down the street just eating a baguette.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
It's a real thing. Like it's not like a cartoonish thing. That's what they really do. So that was unexpected for a cliche to live up to, the joke.
That is funny. I almost want to make a reaction video. Mark, can you film me? I'm gonna eat a baguette and just walk down the
Yeah, there we go. Oh man.
And we'll cut that to like 10 videos or something
There we
like that.
go.
There you go.
Well, welcome back to the United States. So, did you get any baguette? How was the baguette there?
It was fine. That's what I was anticipating, like the food to just blow me away and be like, oh my God,
Right.
foie gras or whatever and all that. But and the cheese, but no, it was just, I mean, it was fine. The food was fine. A lot of the thing is and I would suspect this now of having been to some ancient city, there's a lot of old things, and I would imagine if you go to Greece or Italy, there's even older things. I don't know.
that's
So if
where
you're
I'm going.
into old stuff, you're in for a treat because there's a lot of old stuff there.
Yeah, I'm going on a trip with a couple friends to Italy for I think 4 days, and then to Greece for 4 days.
Woo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's got me nervous because I have high expectations now. I was like, especially Italy, because I love Italian food, and so if I go and it's
An
fine.
Olive Garden is better.
Yeah, right.
I know. I'm
There
going to
we go.
ask you the baguette question when you get back, Brady. Ask you the
Sure.
same question, and you go, "It was spaghetti. It was spaghetti."
No, they
That's
didn't.
Chef Boyardee.
There we go. Oh wow.
I've been nowhere cool. Eric, have you been anywhere cool?
Not really. I mean, I haven't been outside the States. So, the States, hey, we've got a lot of cool places here. So,
Well, you're touring around at age 18.
That's
Come on,
right.
man.
So, I mean, hey,
Give us some credit.
I love everywhere I've been so far, but outside the States, I have not touched yet.
Wow. Eric, since you're sitting at the drums, can I
Yes,
just
sir.
get like a little sound check on see how they come
Yeah,
through
come
on the
on.
podcast?
Hey, yeah.
Because I can't look
let's
at those
see.
symbols anymore without hearing it a little bit.
No,
Let's
yeah.
see.
Charles, do you know who this is? Did I introduce you to Eric yet?
I'm going to take a guess. He's a drummer
Do you know who
That's
this?
right.
from a Van Halen cover band.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
Nailed
Nailed
it.
it.
There you go. The Van Halen cover band.
Yeah, they are doing really well.
Premier Van Halen cover band.
That's pretty cool. How old are you?
I'm 18.
18.
And the rest of the band is in their 20s. Charles.
Yep,
Yeah.
20, 25, 28, and 28.
Yeah.
You just, sound check
Okay.
hot for teacher.
Hey, I
Gonna
can.
do it.
Yeah.
He's gonna do it. He's
Yeah.
gonna do it right now.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. I don't
Took
know
the
how
words
this
right out of my mouth, Dan.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know how this will sound without any mics, but hey,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
love
give
it.
it,
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
give it the best shot.
Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Wow.
Nice.
Awesome,
I
man.
think that's pretty
Oh,
accurate.
Yeah, that reminds me
He passed.
when I was your age, I used to hear it 4 times a day, every day.
Hey, me too. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, it's cool, Eric. Dan and Charles were early on. They were in the whole punk scene.
Oh, very nice.
And they told
That's
cool stories about their live performances that would just blow your mind.
Oh,
And
man.
so they've been doing this for a long, long time. Brady is, I think, you got a guitar there?
I do have a guitar there, and I have a guitar
Oh.
there. and
Would
one
you show our friends here a little bit of what you do on Instagram that makes me so happy all the time
Yeah.
because I watch a little
there.
bit.
Well, let me give some backstory.
Yeah.
Before I, jump in. And
Sure.
get all
Please.
confused.
100%.
I've been doing music ever since I was little, and I really want to produce. Like that's what I'm really into. So I found a way on Instagram to make short, like 15, 30-second reels that, actually gain a lot of traction on Instagram with their algorithm, and it's just quick, keep people's attention. So basically what I do is, well, I take random sounds I find around the house or that people on my Instagram that follow me, they DM me and they text me random things to put in a song, like a car door or a light switch, or the last one I had was a flicking a lamp. I don't know, somebody just said that and it was just, well, okay, whatever. And so I put it in and I change all of it up in the computer and I make original songs out of it.
Wow.
So
A lamp impliers. You gotta respect that.
Oh yeah.
That is
a
awesome.
lamp. And
Oh, of course.
I only make it out of those sounds. So a lamp is my percussion, it's my melody, and it's my chords, and it's my bass. Because all you really got to do is stretch it out if you're doing chords to hold it and just pitch it up or down and put like reverb on it or something. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just
It's a great, unique idea. And, it's kind of like the whole jump thing. It's a bunch of young guys doing something that trended so long ago that they're actually capturing the imagination of a whole new generation with it. A great idea. And then you got the impliers. Brady, I urge you, once you hit play on that, you're going to be like, oh my God, because they have so many unique ideas happening. You're going to be like, whoa, back up. It's so well packaged and it's so fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
Cocoon.
it really is.
Cocoon is the name of their album, and you will never be the same once you get through that thing. It's just amazing.
There are some lamps being smashed on one of the tracks.
Is there?
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that is so you guys. Dan, can you tell Eric and Brady a little bit about what you and Charles were doing when you were around their age?
When you said 18?
Yeah, 18.
Yes, sir.
We were complete idiots by the time we were 18. We started because I think like it was like Charles's older brothers. They were in a really big band in North Carolina, like a metal band. And so we were able to kind of play as like, we started playing like punk, like metal when we were like 16 at these big shows with people much older than us, which kind of reminds me of what you were saying here a couple minutes ago. But I think because we started that so young and we were around a bunch of people who I think they actually enjoyed us just being around like as jokester people as much as our music, or maybe even more, because they would tolerate a lot from us. So by the time we were 18, we were starting to branch out into like the larger clubs. Like we were playing at we got to play at like the Cat's Cradle in Chapel Hill. And like we were graduating from this like skate park era where like everybody was just drunk and jumping, on each other, to these clubs that had like, real bands were coming around. And I think we still had that attitude, and we were idiots. I mean, Charles mainly. So
Yeah, but I had this, I wouldn't say it wasn't an ego. What it was that I think I heard Kim Gordon say this one time, where the bassist from Sonic Youth, where she said, all I'm doing is pressing metal on wood and making noise, and it's not that hard. And if you boo at us or you think we suck, then you get up here and do it. So I had this attitude where it was like, we would play the songs, and sometimes we would nail it. Sometimes they were good shows. So there were a lot of really bad shows, because our bass player was, but anyway, what my attitude was like, you paid to come see us do our thing, and we're going to do our thing, whether you like it or you don't.
Which is a really bad attitude.
Yeah. And I didn't really, I lacked I lacked the
Emotional intelligence, discipline.
I had no respect. I had no respect for the audience, and I would go on these rants
Show you one.
in between songs. Oh no! Don't cue that up.
Oh, we have.
Oh, you've got this ready to go.
Nice.
That is, there are some of us, probably 65% of us walking around that act like they don't have phone extensions. You, and only you motherfuckers, I got a big 2 words for you. Fuck. Phone.
We won't
Wow.
play any more. This is like actually the only piece of footage that we have left from that show, but that was at one
Oh,
of
that's great.
the club's
Yeah.
Kings. And yeah, so Charles would do these Jim Morrison style rants. Like
It was not Jim
talk about
Morrison stuff.
whatever.
It was. I was just having fun.
Wow.
Yeah, making
Yeah.
shit up on the fly.
Hey, it worked for Glenn Danzig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'll go ranting about all kinds of crap.
Eric, let me ask you
Yeah.
something, Eric.
Go
You
for
guys
it,
get
go for it.
you guys get some flack from people because you're younger guys doing Van Halen, and this
We
was
do.
so badass. I don't know who's running the Jump, Instagram page, but somebody who
Mhm.
obviously it was either a bot account or somebody who's never heard of your music. They
Yeah.
start like tearing in on you, and the comment from Jump, whoever's running your account, said, "Well, we respect your opinion, but don't be mad when your mom buys a ticket to our show." I'm like, yes.
Well, we all
Nuked 'em.
take part. We all take part in
Oh,
running
okay.
the account. Mostly, Mike will do most of the management of the account, but we all take part in commenting or posting different
Sure.
things. And I think that was Jarrett, our bass player. Who
Oh,
made that
nice.
comment.
Yes, Jarrett.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
classic. That's perfect.
No, it was, we love, because I mean, there's so many people. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's tons of people that have positive comments, more
Oh,
than
by
negative.
far, yeah.
But when people comment negatively, and you know that it's, they're just trying to they're just trying to stir something up, you just have fun with it. You mess with them back.
It's perfect.
Interesting. We didn't have to deal with any of that stuff when we were kids because there wasn't social and stuff like that.
There
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
any
right.
of
There
that
was no
stuff.
social media.
That's
before,
like
yeah.
such a tough layer though, because like as an artist, you're already in your head about what you're putting out, and then you might have somebody that's trying to mess with you a little bit. So like I think
Yeah.
it's awesome that you all are dishing it right back out.
Oh yeah, we just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems like a new atmosphere. I mean, it's a completely, and that's a thing that's where the generational divide, like between, and it's not that far between you and us, is where, when we were your age, we didn't have social media, and you guys do, where everything is instant, everything is recorded.
Yeah.
You're basically, your life is on display at all times. And so you're already at that, at all ages, very self-critical of everything. And to have all of that other pressure around you, you guys are having to navigate this new way through life that no one else has had to do before.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of you guys are doing a really good job of compartmentalizing, like, this is all trash bullshit that people are going to always do.
Oh yeah,
And
you're
then
gonna have that.
there's good things that come from it too. And I think overall, besides the obvious negative things that scientists have evaluated and whatnot, people can put out their art freely, and there's no barrier to entry as far as like what we would have to do is like give tapes to people and hope they listen to them, and maybe you give it to the right person and you can send it out to basically the world, you know, infinity. And yeah, it's a huge difference, but also another like giant wall of just crazy bullshit that you have to sift through that I wouldn't really know what to do with.
Well, you,
Oh,
with,
100%.
you kind of like one of the things I was reading about today, it's like musicians, you can't, like these days, especially independent, you can't just be a musician anymore. You have to be a well-rounded artist, because you have to do your social, you have to do your image, your graphics, your video, all of that, right? And that whole thing kind of becomes the art, right? And I don't know, I think it's awesome, you know, because I think like the skills like are you know, they're able to create like a mini universe. Like, I don't know, like I'm really interested, I think, to take a look at some of the stuff you put together with your light switches and whatnot to kind of see. Because I would imagine it's not just the song or the sound, it's the journey getting up to it and how you're creating it and what you're doing, you know, from the request all the way until it's something that you can admire.
Yeah. And on the topic of the negative, it sucks also when you're 15 years old and a sophomore in high school, and you know, you're walking down the halls and
that's just period point blank anyway. But yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
And that only happens in the Carolinas. The rest of the world.
I bet.
Yeah.
No, what happened? You said you're walking through the halls 15.
Yeah, and you know, people just, you know, because you know, my Instagram is public, and so I have students that make fun of me sometimes, but when I say I'm an actor, they don't like, it's just it sucks sometimes, but you gotta live in the moment and you only live once, and I'm not trying to I'm gonna regret everything if I don't, you know, get, you know, out there. And
how the hell did you get so smart so young, Brady? Jeez. I was just like
one time, and it was awesome. And my dad put this thing on my wall, and it said it was this sticker by Michael Jordan, and he put it to where every time I woke up I saw it, and every time I went to sleep I saw it. I read it every day, and it was, I can't accept failure, but I can't accept not trying. So it's like, just do it, you know?
Yeah, that's like a magical practice. What you're doing is like, that's what makes people successful in everything, you know, where I've known people where it's like they put what they want on their refrigerator, and every time they open it, there it is. So you keep it in your mind at all times. And that's how you get there. If you just think of it, if you think of what you want as this far away thing and not something that you have to do right now,
exactly,
then it never happens.
It's steps all the time. I remember whenever I did my plays, and I was like, how do people get into this film stuff? And then I literally Googled, searched it, and they said, get an agent. I was like, all right, well, that's not as easy as it, you know, sounds. Next day, I emailed an agent. I literally looked up agents in my area, emailed her, and now I'm signed with her. I've been signed for 3 years now, and I'm doing Universal movies and SAG commercials. So you just take the step, and you know, what happens.
And
Yeah,
he does great work too. He does really cool jams and stuff. You know, Brady, your level of professionalism, I only wish I had half of it when I was your age. You know, I'd have gone along. I was playing metal in bars, you know, throwing chairs like an idiot, you know, and again, you know, like Dan was pointing out and Charles had pointed out, it just was a different, it was like, I don't know. It was a whole different life because you weren't really being like recorded. Everything wasn't being recorded. So you could be a little more free in like your speech. Charles went up there to shock people. Well, I was the front man in the band, you know, so I would kick something out there, edgy, offensive, you know, because when I was growing up, edgy and offensive was very, very popular. Very, very popular. Now everybody's being very, very
Artists.
careful.
The artists
That's
were
right.
trolls back then. Like I was actually thinking about that, and I'm glad you brought it up because I wasn't going to do it in public. But I was thinking that the people that are probably in the comments on like y'all's social media now is probably what Charles was trying to do to the people in the audience.
That's a good point. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
just I guess it was, trolling before the internet was a lot of fun. But it could get you into like physical drama where
Oh, yeah.
you get like punched in the face or get kicked out of a club for permanently, which happened to us a number of times.
Wow.
But,
Kicked out of the club. Who would have thought?
And we weren't even like a aggressive band. That was the weird thing. We were like indie rock, noise, experimental kind of stuff. But yeah, the club owners didn't like us because if they said there was a rule, then we had to break the rule, you know.
Yeah.
I think he said
because that's what rock and roll was, man.
Yeah.
he said don't scream into the microphone, and you screamed as loud as you could for as long as you could into the microphone. And he didn't just kick us out; he shut the breaker box down.
Wow.
Nice.
While we were up there,
Wow.
and we had to walk off in shame.
Well, it wasn't just us; it was the people that we brought with us too. But yeah, it was a different. It was a different era where there wasn't, like to advertise a show, you printed off flyers, like you made them, you had stickers or whatever, you drew them on a piece of paper and you took them to the bookstore, I think, where they had a copy machine and print off copies, and you handed them out or posted them or whatever. So yeah, it sounds like dinosaur times, I know, like in today's world, but yeah, I don't think this should be like today's world's crazy and yesterday's world was simple. But yeah, what you guys are doing, it seems like you guys know what you want and that you're going for it, and that's the most important thing of all. And whatever means it takes to get that. Whatever you want to do, and there's a way to do it, you actually do it, instead of the people that sit around and say, oh, one day I'll probably be a movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Eric.
Yeah.
Like how weren't you like 16 when you first started doing this with these guys?
When I first joined Jump, I was 16. Yep.
Wow.
They brought me in,
Kudos.
and it was
Tell
played
us
my
that
first
story.
show.
How did that happen?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when we did our podcast, Mike might have mentioned that I was at their very first show in Toledo in 2019, December of 2019. And fast forward, I'd say I think it was March or April, between April and May of 2021. My dad, he cleans windows and gutters for a living, that's what he does, and he was doing an estimate for windows at the place that Mike used to work at.
But he also played in
And-
bands.
But he also played in
Yeah,
bands.
he did.
That's right.
Remember
That's
that.
right. And so he said, this was after the show, that he saw him, and he's like, "Hey, you're the Dave from the Van Halen band, aren't you?" And he goes, "Yeah." So they get talking, and they're talking about, he's talking about me, and they just get talking about music. And fast forward a little bit, he invites us to their house party that they threw in September of 2021. And we were there, and we went up to Mike and we're like, "Hey, it's kind of, like a spur of the moment thing, but is there any way that, Eric could sit in with you guys?" And this was like I think it was their second show as a band, themselves. So he's like, "Well, let's hold off right now, because we're not even comfortable playing with ourselves yet, let alone some new guy." So, you know, let's hold on that tonight, but we'll figure something out. We'll get them up here at some point. And so we're like, okay, cool. That went on. And then in I don't know what month exactly it was, but their old drummer, Jared Spindler, shout out. He went to go work at Sweetwater as a Sweetwater rep. And Mike was looking around for a drummer for I think he said 8 or 9 months. And he finally, you know, we were friends on Facebook and all that, and he saw the covers that I was doing and all that. And so, you know, he's like, hey, why not? So he calls, obviously, because I was 16 at the time. He called my dad first, made sure that was okay, because you know you can't just take a 16-year-old out on the road on your your touring band.
Not anymore. I mean,
no, that's right.
Back in the day.
That's right. So
Dan would
called
disappear
him.
at 16 probably for a while. Where it's been like 4 days. Where Dan? He's with Charles. I don't know.
I don't know. So he called him. You know, made sure everything was cool. After that, he called me up and he's like, hey, you know, I know, you know, we've, you know, been trying to get you on stage with us. You know, you've wanted to sit in for a while. How about I do you one better? You want to come audition? We're looking for a new drummer. And I said, of course, Van Halen, and, you know, being a tribute, I was like, of course. So I went in and we jammed for about a month and a half or so in May and June. And I played my first show with them in August of 21, and I've been with them ever since.
Nice.
Well, before that, when you were like practicing your drums and stuff, what were you listening to and practicing on and trying to get good to play? What were you doing?
Man, I mean, well, to kind of throw it back a little more, I first started playing when I was 12. So it's been a long journey since then, and it's kind of starting out, you know, I took lessons for about 3.5 or 4 years from a jazz guy. And even though I'm not big on jazz, I like it, you know, as a genre, but it's, you know, I wouldn't just sit down and turn some jazz on, you know, it's just not me.
No.
But musically, it is just so advanced, and the just everything about it is so cool and just in the pocket. And so the things he taught me, you know, I can kind of take what he taught me and then incorporate it into the rock, you know, kind of genre. And it makes everything, you know, just tighter and, you know, a little more, I guess I'd say, you know, more smooth, if you will, with the different rudiments that you have with drums. And so that just helped immensely with my, you know, my playing, my practicing, even up, you know, till now. It's just played a huge part. So,
you know, we had a jazz guitar player on, and I said the same thing. That stuff looks so hard. And you guys it's so complicated. And I'm like, you know what I said about jazz? I'm like, I'm not really into jazz, but I respect it so much because you guys, it seems so improvisational, and like it's like you need to be so skilled walking into that.
Yeah,
I was just like blown away, and I said exactly what you just said. So, I think you were really fortunate to have someone as a teacher.
Oh,
who was probably just like so skilled, you know, it just like probably, you know, and you just absorbed it like a sponge, didn't you?
That's right.
Was it anything like Whiplash?
You know, there was some Whiplash type stuff in there, you know.
That's my time. It was very cool. I love that song and whole album. I remember that oh gosh. But yeah, but the Van Halen things, you know, that was when I was in like high school, you know, and it was the early Van Halen. It was just it was so early Def Leppard, early Van Halen. You know, that was just the beginning of all that heavy metal, that glammy stuff that followed later and went completely out of control. But you guys, you know, look so good too, having that youthful Van Halen look and sound. You
really do.
Just makes your show awesome.
Thank you.
Now, Brady, can I ask you, what's been going on since, I mean, we're talking about music, and I know your acting thing is not really I don't see as much of it on Instagram. Can you kind of fill us in what you've been doing with that?
With acting.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason why there's not a lot of it on Instagram is because acting is extremely secretive.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Especially with roles and stuff that I book. But
NDAs and all that.
yeah.
I think there was something you said last time, I can't tell you, or something like that, you know? So
Yeah.
we get a lot of that.
Yeah, the Universal one that I shot in August it's actually coming out August 17th of next year.
Wow. What can you tell us about that?
Nothing.
It's a buddy comedy of a trio from SNL called Please Don't Destroy. I don't know if you've seen them yet. They're up and coming. They just now started getting their skits in the SNL broadcasts.
Okay.
And I'm trying to name the cast. Conan O'Brien, he's making a cameo in that movie. Who else? Bowen Yang, he's a front member of SNL now. So, you know, they really gathered up all of the late night talk and SNL type members. But anyway, yes, it's a buddy comedy about three people who are on a treasure hunt in the mountains. So yeah, that's really all I can say right now.
Yes.
I'm trying to, you know, run through everything in my head so I don't get in trouble, but
No, that's,
yeah, I know. I shouldn't put you on the spot. Don't take any risks.
no, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I started acting in 5th grade at the school play, and I didn't want to be in the show. I just wanted to help out backstage. And the director, who was my teacher, when I told him that, he said no to my face, and he handed me the audition form and said, sign it right now. And so I signed it.
You need
obviously.
people pushing you like that every once in a
Yeah,
while.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just no, and I was like, okay. So I signed it, and I auditioned, and I got the my proudest role, the mayor of the Munchkins in The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, and so I was really nervous, and the first time I stepped on that stage, I mean, my legs are shaking. My voice it's got vibrato.
So you had to sing that little song and everything.
Yeah.
We welcome you.
I got
Wow. I remember that.
exactly. And I did it, and I went off stage because it wasn't a big part. I mean, I only had like one scene. So I walked off stage and I started jumping, like, because the adrenaline that you have whenever it's like your first time, I don't know what it was, but I said, yo, I want to do that again so bad. And the next day we did the show again, and I was like, I gotta keep doing this. I love this so much. So I went to, actually it was a couple weeks after that, my school went on a field trip to Matthews Playhouse, which is like a community playhouse in Matthews, North Carolina. And the director was there, and he gave me an audition to his next show. And his next show was Jungle Book, and I got in as Shere Khan's sidekick to Vicky.
Nice.
And I did 2 shows every day for 6 weeks in 6th grade, which was tough on school, especially. They had other schools came on field trips to see the show, so I was, you know, just being small, doing shows all that time. And then you know, signed with the agent, and I did my first ever film audition in my neighborhood parking lot, which is completely not what you're supposed to do. I mean, the rules for an audition, especially now after COVID, where you're not going in the room with the casting director and producers and doing the scene in front of them with their camera, you're doing it on your camera. And the kind of rule is plain background, make sure there's no background noise, good lighting, and don't make eye contact with the camera. Those are the only 4 rules that you have to follow. And I didn't do a single one of them. I was outside. There was background noise. I was riding a scooter because the scene that they gave me an audition was so, I mean, you couldn't doing it that way. So I was just like, I mean, I have to do this. So I sent it in, and I booked the role the next day, and we were filming in Chattanooga the next week at 4 a.m. in the freezing rain, 30 degrees outside. Gosh, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it started to pick up after that. I did Carvana commercial with Jimmy Johnson. Played the teenage version of him, and then I did a movie with Eric Estrada called The Mutt. Then after that, I had a few other commercials. I did one with Ron Blake, airplane simulator. That's one of the coolest things I've ever done. Like they literally sat us in a plane. They filmed us as we were flying this.
Was that in North Carolina too, or no?
That is in North Carolina. That's in Durham, North Carolina, near Raleigh. And then I did a film for a museum that's gonna be put in Charleston in this next coming month.
Nice.
And that was interesting too, because Julie Dash directed that, and she just won an Emmy for her movie on Amazon, which is crazy. I never thought I'd be with Julie Dash doing a movie for a museum, which is kind of strange, but that'll be playing every 15 minutes in the lobby, just kind of get a taste of what the museum is. But yeah, I love it. It's fun.
Aren't you glad that you didn't do the behind the scenes thing? I mean, I've done the behind the scenes things.
I owe that my teacher so much after that. I'm so glad.
Because where I'm from, Michigan, I was stupid enough to do acting classes at the community college, and it was just awful. Like I'd audition for plays and be behind the scenes, and then I'd have to design the set. I'm not a carpenter. I'd have to build the set. The guy would be like throwing stuff at me, and we'd be doing sewing and stuff. I'm like, this isn't for me. That's why I went to Chicago and then to LA. So I said, screw it. They were like, oh, you don't have a chance. You're not, oh, you have a long way to go and all this stuff. And, I worked on a ton of TV shows, I proved them wrong. And just like Charles, I wasn't necessarily getting kicked out of places, but I used to go for karaoke. And there's no social media age. So I go to Village Inn Pizza. I'm sure Brian's heard of Village Inn because it's from out here. The old H-shaped place, really old place, looks like an old lodge. And they'd have cameras up there. Well, I would do Cradle of Love by Billy Idol, and she'd be like, you almost broke the mic. Don't stop screaming into it. Like she'd force me to go and do like BTO or something really, really. She goes, yeah, you should really stick to the softer ones. Just stand there. Don't dance, don't do anything. I'm like,
you got to do, if you're going to do karaoke, Billy Idol, you got to do Eyes Without a Face.
Oh, I've done that one.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
I love Billy Idol. He coined the phrase. Have you ever heard of Generation X?
Oh, yeah.
His first band was called Generation X. It is great, beginning to end. The Billy Idol that came later was this polished version.
It really was.
It was for MTV and stuff. It was nice. It was very, very nice, but oh man, he was a trailblazer actually. And you're right, I actually ran karaoke shows, and that was a good one. And especially if you want to get up there and not do anything that'll make you too embarrassed or too difficult, you go up there and go do that. You can just pull it off. And you mentioned Ron Blake, Brady, a good friend of ours, couldn't be here today. Yeah. He got into a fight with an evil tree. He was victorious. He was victorious.
He was cutting a tree today, Brady, and he messaged me. He said, "I don't think I'm."
He actually hurt his back. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
He hurt his back dealing with some tree. So Ron, let's see if I can. This is for you, buddy. This is Ron.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He was gonna make
so
it big.
Ron is an actor now, but he used to be in a band that was gonna go far. They were on the verge of something big, and then they had a problem with their singer or something like that. But
that's crazy.
But yeah, he kicked me a little video of doing his drum thing. So little Phil Collins there, huh?
He's got a lot of cymbals.
So, that is a nice kit, right? That is
nice. That is beautiful.
And he's from out of your area, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
He lived in your area. So.
Oh yeah, North Kakalaki.
Oh, we're by there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the other CD?
Yeah, it's weird. North Carolina in the olden time, even before my time, like in the mid '80s, was where all of the about the no wave music of New York City in like the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay,
like yeah, just like DNA, Swan, Sonic Youth. That's all I can think of at the moment. But they would tour all around the country and suck everywhere. Everyone hated them because
Oh,
it was really rough to listen to. But when they came to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, everyone loved them for some reason, and that was like a little hub in the United States where that weird, grinding, terrible noise kind of flourished, and a lot of good bands came out of that area.
Was
like
it only in Chapel Hill or?
Yeah, just in Chapel
Wow.
Hill. Yeah, the Cat's Cradle is like a kind of a legendary place where it was like the place where all the bands, alternative type bands, would begin.
Came out of there, right?
Yeah, Ben Folds.
Oh, sure. Okay, Ben Folds.
See, you got to understand the time. Like, I was literally working construction, and there was a Metallica on every boom box, is what they were called. They don't have those anymore. Everyone had a boom box, okay? And it was, but what I was listening to was literally like Depeche Mode on a crackling AM station, because you couldn't even get it on an FM station yet. You couldn't even literally get it in stereo. It was mono. Listening to The Cure, and yeah, but it was just so different, that, I don't know. I tried to get my metal band to move in that direction, but it was just like pulling teeth. They couldn't move. I don't know.
It's really hard to, you have a life, or some people do, and some people do. As far as your family let me put it this way. Instead of saying having a life, you have people that you can go to for money, and if you're destitute on the streets, so you feel like you can't leave a certain area because what are you going to do? You're going to starve if you move to the big city with no experience in any work, and your dream is to do something that doesn't usually make money. So it's hard for people to dedicate their life and say, we're going to do this, especially have like 3 or 4 people. They're like, we're doing this band and we're going to go for it hard no matter what happens. And a lot of times they do that, and it falls apart because of life and money and all of that stuff. And so it's very rare for like a group of like hometown kids to have a band, move to the big city where they can make it big, or at least try, and actually not want to kill each other, or I think the biggest mistake, like they all move in together, which is of course what you have to do because you have no money, and people don't pay their bills. You have fights, and then the band doesn't exist anymore. And that's the worst thing to happen, is that the music stops. So it's a really hard road to go down to be in a band and want to do your thing. But it's so much different in this day and age where you can be a band all by yourself. You don't need anyone else, because all of the software can fill in all those people. And if you can play all the instruments, or I mean, some of them play themselves for you. So
not even, you can go online. Go
online and hire people to play certain riffs and stuff. Like we're talking about with this next album, having like real like a horn section, like recording real horns.
Wow.
And
Nice.
that'll be something that'll be really exciting to do.
I look forward to that. That's a new direction. Cool.
There you go.
What do you think kept you guys going all this time? I mean, Dan and Charles, at first you were kind of kids, you know, and you're having fun and you're like, well, it could happen. And, you know, I remember that feeling, you know, I just wanted to feel like a rock star. I didn't have to actually be a rock star. I wanted to one day, but it was kind of good enough just to get the applause, you know, and, you know, get girlfriends and stuff like that. But now, you got guys like Eric here, and he's sitting there at 18 on the verge. He's looking down the road at real money. And so is Brady here, you know, and I can't even put myself being 18 and having like that career sitting right there in front of me. So again, Charles, what do you think kept you going when, you know, you had to deal with daily life and stuff like that?
Well, it surely wasn't really about trying to, you know, quote, make it or ever make money off of it. It was just something that really for the longest time, I would say, like for the majority of the time, it was just to make something that my friends would listen to and they would like, and their I wouldn't say approval, but their entertainment from it would just be enough for me. But even if they didn't like it, I would still do it because that's just what I prefer to do rather than just absorb entertainment or whatever you do when you're not being creative, you know, like just passing time uselessly, I guess.
I can throw one thing in there, and that, like, for the majority of the time, like, we weren't really doing anything. Like when we were kids, like we had it in our heads that I remember the thought when we were like 15, it was like we know that we're on this earth to make music, right? And we're like we found somebody else who actually has some similar notes that complement, and we just knew, and our friends always knew that, like, when we made music together, it worked, and it was very different than what we would do alone. But I would say that you know, the crazy stuff that we were doing at the clubs, like that little video clip that was the end, right? Like we started getting off on our own, you know, and then you get girlfriends and all these other things that become more important, right? Then you got to figure out how to pay your bills, and we weren't living together. Thank God. That's probably why we still you know, do stuff together. But I think for a long period of time, as we were going through our own lives, like music went into probably wasn't a front seat. Like it was always a hobby for us, something that we would do on weekends. Like maybe we'll make it so our friends can enjoy it, but really just because we liked doing it. And then as we kind of were reconnecting just randomly over the years, we were always sharing the creative stuff that we did, but it was actually through making video and like stand-up, like sketch comedy and stuff. And so we would do fun stuff together doing that stuff. And then I think Charles was really into like making like horror soundtracks just so he could listen to and have something soundtracks.
That's awesome.
So it's
great.
like, that stuff and put it in these movies. But I think years ago it was like kind of that reminder of like, hey, do you remember like how we felt when we were kids, where we were like, this is the thing that we're gonna do? Like, well, everybody that we know has grown up and like went and had kids and done all this stuff, but to us, both of us, the music has never stopped being important. So like, why don't we try to do something for real, you know? And we started talking about that for years. And so I don't know, I'd say probably because we didn't have kids and you know, like there's probably a lot of little things that kind of equated to where we're at now. But at the same time, I think it's probably because the music was so important to us that we didn't have kids. We realized that we're not gonna give enough of our attention to somebody else. Like we need to be selfish and work on this. So I don't know, long story to say.
So it's about the passion.
Yeah, well, I think there's a really cool book called Grit. And so this woman, Angela Duckworth, she looked at a bunch of people that graduated West Point, and she was trying to figure out what makes people do well here. Is it physical strength? Is it intelligent? And it's neither, right? What she found was It's passion and perseverance, like the two, and you could be passionate about something, but not have perseverance, right? And so you have to be able to put that energy behind it. And I think you were the one that said it, where it's like, you have to make a ton of small little moves, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't just look like magic. For some people it does, right? Especially if you're born into it or something. But you know, if you actually have a dream, well, you need to be taking steps to make it come true. And it might take you a few years, and then hopefully throughout the few years, your passion, your perseverance doesn't burn, you know. But yeah, I think everybody's probably has something that burns like a fire inside of them, and everybody just needs to figure out what that is and get it out. Because whatever the festering of that thing is, whether it's you want to do a podcast, play drums, or, you know, yell at people on stage, or, you know, acting, whatever it is, like, I think like holding it inside you is probably what makes you the miserable old get off my lawn person. And those people that are able to figure out how to express it probably, you know, live a fuller life. But a lot of times these things are things that don't pay well. So, you know.
Were you and Charles ever into acting? Because your videos are great. You know, we can't recommend it enough.
I love your dry humor. It's so funny.
Yeah.
That guy was interviewing you. Oh, you're not very focused. What do you mean we're not focused? It's just great. Who writes all that stuff? Do both of you sit there and do that? And
I know.
Yeah, we shoot shit back and forth and like come up with the best. Yeah, we just make stuff up and do lines, and then we've kind of figured out, you know, in this the social media age, where, because we used to make literally like we did. I think one of our best videos, we did relationships and you, which is a dating about how to act and treat a person in a relationship. And it's it's like presented seriously as this seminar or something for how to treat your partner in a relationship. And it's literally everything that I have ever seen people do terribly in relationships.
Mhm.
And that was the advice that we would give. And but
Oh my
that
God.
was like a 10-minute long video. And so I mean, we still want to do things like that, but in this environment, you know, you're only getting people's attention for 30 seconds, 10
Yeah.
seconds,
Oh, yeah, that's
or
right.
whatever. And so a lot
Ever
of times, yeah, what we'll do now is just we'll be like, we're going to go here and film, and we'll just do it on the fly and just improv and just pick out the best stuff. And Dan's the master editor, and to make things weird and awkward and
oh,
and
it's
strange.
so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. I had
It
so much
really
fun
is.
today. I just, you know, look, Brady and Eric, look at this. I have like a flyer,
Oh wow.
right?
And then you scan
So,
the QR.
right? The name of their album is Cocoon. And so, you know, you've got a QR code
Yeah.
on the back that takes it to a video thing. And what it is, it's like a commercial. Are you tired of your old playlist? It's hilarious. It goes into
Yeah,
this
it's
shit.
great.
And
That's
it's so
genius,
funny.
Yeah.
But if you just scan the back too, it goes right to their website where you can just hear the album too by the you know, CD. But which look how, isn't that cool? It's just
Oh,
very.
that's so
Oh, yeah.
cool.
I'm
that.
reflecting on everybody. It's just yellow with the cocoon on it. So
Nice.
you know, these guys, it's deep, okay, you know, and it's so deep you'll get lost in their music, you know.
I love it.
Everybody check it out, you know. You just go, it's Impliers, theimpliers.com.
Yes.
Is it exactly?
That
Yeah,
is
and
correct.
you go right in there and listen to it, and you're gonna be blown away.
It's much better
So
than
cool.
anything on the radio. Not that we listen to radio anymore, but
Yeah.
it is good. It's
When's
solid
the last
music.
time I turned on
Yeah.
the radio? Do I have a
Oh,
radio?
yeah.
I don't think I do.
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
I don't think I do.
But you chose the
Okay.
right style of music too, because funny story is, you know, you're talking about 90s music, the blues, what was it, Blues Traveler. I was doing
Oh,
this, I was
man.
working on this TV show at Warner Ranch. It got canceled within the first season. It's called Selfie. Oh man, like taking a selfie in this self-centered bitch or whatever, and then the guy from Harold and Kumar. Anyways, the whole
The show
day
was called Selfie.
it's called Selfie. Get this, the whole day
Oh
was
my
a
God.
Blues Traveler concert. So we had to constantly listen to that song. Why you wanna give me a run? And of course the guy kept on fucking up. The guy from
That sounds like a nightmare.
Joe, he kept on fucking up. Yeah, so it was an all-day thing where you just kept on sucking in, sucking in. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, where's Brian's speed
Oh
metal?
my
Give me some
God.
speed metal. We had
Oh,
to listen to him all day. It was like a 16-hour, and Brady knows these. Sometimes the shoots can go like 16 hours, and it's like,
Dude, they tell
like,
you, they're like,
oh.
it's only an 8-hour day plus $10 if you need overtime, if you go overtime. And I'm like, and then you get on set and you're like, it's been 12 hours. Like,
Yeah.
when are we wrapped? And it also sucks when you have parents who
Oh yeah.
have jobs, and I have a little sister. And so whenever, we get the booking information and the call time and call sheet. This is the other thing. Oh my gosh. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why, but it's so frustrating sometimes. When you get the call sheet, it doesn't come until the night before the shoot.
Oh, you actually got the call sheets.
wait,
Yeah, so
wait,
you
what
were
is that
looking-
exactly?
That tells
Wait,
you
what is
the
that again?
breakdown of what the day's gonna be.
Yeah, so call time to be there, parking, like meals and everything like that. And so you don't know where you're going until the night before, which kind of sucks because I can't drive. I'm only 15 years old and I have
Yeah,
two
okay.
kids. So the day, obviously. But that's it before the night. And
Yeah.
Just imagine when you are like on your own and you don't have to rely on anyone, and
I know, right?
you're gonna unleash yourself in the world. It's gonna be epic, dude. It's gonna be epic. Well, you know what? We've been at this for like an hour, and I don't
really
want to
have,
hold you. I appreciate you all for being here. But can I say thank you, Brady, for coming back on? I know you're really busy, and I know you got a lot going
Thank
on,
you.
and we really, really are honored to have you here
All
again.
of you. It's
Because
great.
you were one of our first child actors that we had on, and you are just doing so good, kid. I cannot wait to see what you do next. I know you can't tell me what you're doing next, but when you do it, come back.
I actually can.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm shooting
News.
a movie called Tangerine Butterflies, January 15th in Virginia with Lacey Caroline. She actually might be I'll text her and see. She's the NASCAR Kids host for NBC.
Wow.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and she's Baby Hornet for the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh
So
wow.
she's like the
Okay.
mascot for the
Oh,
little-
nice.
Really?
little Hornet. Her dad is the actual Hornet, like the bigger mascot. I'm sure they have a bunch of them, but he's one of them.
Wow.
That's really cool. I didn't even know that, and I got, this was like 5 years ago. I went up to the Hornet and I asked for his autograph. And I mean, he's got these big gloves on and this little Sharpie and this little stuffed animal. So he really just went, and then
Yeah.
here you go. And he told me that
He
that
just
was
licked
probably
it.
her.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I produced one of her short films called Youth, and was at the premiere, and I met her dad and everything, and I found out then that he was the one that gave me the autograph, which is funny.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
You are
Yeah, but-
so impressive, kid.
Thank you.
So
Really?
impressive. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see what you do next. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Eric,
Yeah.
we just met the other day, but you know
We
what?
did.
You and your guys are just so impressive too.
They are.
Dude,
And
thank you so
it was,
much.
And you started the tribute thing for us.
I was
You
just gonna
made us
say,
aware.
mhm.
Yeah. And now we're looking at. getting some
we're
more
reaching
people
out
on.
to
Yeah.
some other guys
awesome.
too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Oh, very, very nice.
I
Well,
want you to interact with them. We'll have you
Oh,
back, and have
100%.
all the guys back, and
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
do this again. Congratulations on everything that's going on, and
Thank you
keep us
very much.
posted. Yeah, and
Oh,
keep
for
talking
sure.
about
Eric
Sunlight.
Sutherland, one of the baddest ass drummers
Mhm.
around.
Dude.
Seriously.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Make sure to check out our Instagram at Jump Tribute.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And-
add it in here.
And
Thank
our,
you.
And our website at jumptribute.com.
Nice.
It is a lot of fun, that website. I've been there. And speaking of, well, you guys, the employers, you seem to be like masters. You're becoming masters of marketing and stuff like that. I think a lot can be learned. Can you tell Eric and Brady exactly, not exactly, just briefly, how Cocoon came to be?
Do you mean the record or the marketing or?
You know, first I would like to know, because it says that these songs are kind of a compilation. So how far back do these songs go?
We have some part, like on that record, there's some parts of like I know there's a part that's from literally the 90s, you know, like that we use on one of the songs, but there's a couple parts that came from like 2005, like essentially
Wait a minute, sorry to interrupt, but I remember now when we spoke the first time, you literally took music from back then and kind of resurrected it and yeah.
So you're sampling it.
well, no, it's our own music. So we've
yeah?
I know you said you're into production, so we taught ourselves production about over 20 years ago, right? So like with 4 tracks or 2 tape decks or whatever back then. And I think to us that probably became the most interesting thing. One, because you don't have to wait for your friends to be around to create the music, and you can just create everything all on your own.
Oh, everyone wanted a 4-track back then. He's got a 4-track. Oh my God, get over there.
Well, when a person gets a girlfriend and doesn't want to be in the band anymore, you don't lose your songs, right? There's a lot of benefits to being your own producer, right? Like seriously, that I think that we've all been through. And so for us, we have a ton, like hundreds of like snippets of like music where it's like, we've always wanted to use this, or we were going through some stuff a few weeks ago and there was a song that was mine from a decade ago that Charles had heard and made a new version of it. And then as we're like kind of putting together some of our new music, it was like, okay, if this song has been around for a decade and you liked it enough to like remake a part of it, like this should be here, right? So I'd say if you have the luxury of having, a couple decades worth of recorded music, like that definitely helps a head start on being able to
Charles, ballpark it for me. How many songs have you written?
Songs?
How many different little songs have you written?
Songs, I would say, I don't know.
A song can be 10 seconds.
Oh, well, 500 maybe?
There you go.
Hundreds. But
actual structured songs that are finished
7
beginning to end, maybe
13, no.
maybe 30.
Nice.
Out of 500, because you have ideas and you have a beat, you got these notes, it sounds cool, but then where does it go? That's the whole problem.
You put it on a loop and you're like, all right, now how do I break it down into 2 minutes?
Yeah, how do you make this? Well, you make rap music. That's a joke. But
at the end of the day, it's like when you're going back through this, like you got to find like what are the melodies that you appreciate, and then regardless of the context that they're currently in, how do you bring that melody into something that makes sense? So like, I think for Cocoon, we knew that there was like a set of songs, mostly fleshed out songs that felt really good together and that had a little bit of content, like story structure together, and put it together. So it was kind of the end of this much broader story that we're telling. And so like this album that we're doing now, we actually have 4 different records we're working on right now. The one of them that's going to come out first half of next year is built actually like the opposite way of Cocoon. So now we know this much broader story that we want to tell, because we came up with that over the past several years when we were making Cocoon and figuring out how that fits. But what we were able to do this time is say, okay, well, this is what we're trying to tell. It's this long, this section of the story. Well, that's going to have to be 2 albums. What are the pieces of music that fit that? Right. So it's a little bit backwards, but we have everything kind of identified, selected, and being put together, and we're approaching it completely different. And it's still very much us. And I think that's when it comes down to it, you know, maybe we have some songs that are really hard or loud or synthy, or we have some that are really organic and soft and slow. Well, all of that is, you know, from inside of us, and it's really the melodies that drive everything. And then I think it's the mood or the emotion that kind of creates the like atmosphere that it sits in, and like the sound, you know. But I think, yeah, if you have access to a few decades of your own music, definitely tap into it. And if not, create it, right? And there's a really cool book called Range that talks about, you have people like Tiger Woods that started playing golf when he was 5, right? And he ended up being the best golfer in the world. Well, there's plenty of people that played 10 sports until they were 15, right? And they ended out just as good, right? And it's a lot of people go through this sampling period where you try a bunch of different things until you feel something that's right. And I think that's something that's really necessary in art, right? And there's flow, like you have to see, you know, is it set and setting, time and place, like, you know that this is a really important song that you're working on, but you don't feel it tonight. We'll go on to something else, go do something else. But I think you got to try a lot of different things to see what kind of strikes you. And then when you get to that point where things are a little bit hard and you feel like you're not able to kind of get out what you need to, you got to power through it. I think that's what Charles is talking about on the difference between 500 and 50. Maybe it takes you 500 parts to get 50 songs, but then maybe it takes you 50 songs to get 5 that you really care about.
Yeah.
And so it's just like keeping at it, you know?
This
really
older
smart.
stuff has been a big hit too, because we had Ivan Dorshuk, you know, the lead singer of Men Without Hats, on about like a month ago.
Yeah.
And they released an album of all old stuff.
But you know what? You know, that just sounded like a little, happy little song. No, that dude was very calculated on how he wrote it and stuff. That was the amazing part of that.
I know.
I'm like, wow. You know, and you guys are doing, you know, like the same thing. I mean, is it so you have 4 different things moving at the same time, and you guys are moving from one to the other, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that, like, so from,
Because you're not talking about 4 songs, you're saying 4 albums.
yeah,
Exactly.
and like,
Yeah.
it's not like the real way to do things these days, if you're trying to build momentum, is you just come out with singles endlessly. I mean, there's a band, Men I Trust, they have something, I don't remember what it was. They have 5 million monthly active listeners, and they they made it the whole way without PR, and it's just single after single, and it snowballs, right? And I think that, like, we were able to kind of make a decision recently to be like, well, we could just do that, but it's like, no, because we're an album band. It's like really important that if you listen to these 7 songs in a row, you hear this here and here and here. So for us, it's trying to figure out how to do both of those things, because we do want to make sure that each of the songs are, you know, are able to exist on their own. But yeah, like because our story kind of is traveling, it's like the way we think about it, it's like, you know, Lord of the Rings level big, you know. It's like for things that are important to us that are probably not as interesting to the rest of the world, that are really interesting to us, that we're kind of talking about. But
that's perfectly said, though. I look at this pamphlet and I start going into it, and I'm like, it's Lord of the Rings big.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
it's just, there's so much. I mean,
Yeah.
this whole thing just smacks of hard work and effort.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just very, very impressive. So tell me about, Charles, you're talking about horns and stuff. How else is the music going to differ on this new project, or one of them?
Well, it's gonna so the Cocoon is a little, I wouldn't say it's completely dark, or the mood of everything is going to
It
go
has a
in it, and
distortion to it,
it's a little weird,
which I like.
it's a little weird, but our next thing is going to go through a kind of mountain range of different, I wouldn't say different style, yeah, different kind of styles. We're gonna do some more poppy, more happy, friendlier things, but of course it's always going to go into a little darker zone, and you know, become more full circle than like how Cocoon kind of left the listener on the edge of contemplating, you know, life and reality and death and everything. And we're not going to go that hard and deep on this one. So it'll be, I think, a little more fun. It's going to be like, a double album. And so it'll be a long journey, but there'll be some more lighter, more fun kind of things going on with this one.
I look forward to it. I look
Yeah.
forward to it. Well, again, I've taken an hour of you guys' time. I really appreciate you guys being here. I share Cocoon because I like Cocoon because it's so unique. Eric and Brady, please check it out. You're gonna go, wow. You're gonna go, wow. Yeah. And Brady, it's so great to see you again. And I'm so happy that everything is moving so quickly. Don't forget about us, okay? When you fly into the stratosphere.
I definitely won't.
And Eric, don't forget about us when you guys topple.
Yeah.
The real
Yeah,
band
when you
Hannah.
start touring with those other bands that are getting 10,000 tickets per
Hey,
show.
that's right. Hey, I won't.
You are on the verge. And you know what? I'm gonna stick with you to the very end, Eric, because you're such a great drummer. This jump thing is just a jump start, I think, off into your probably an amazing life. So
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
it was great making
And
friends with
come
you. I
on,
feel
a
like
guy that
Oh,
was
yeah.
influenced. What people don't know, what Charles and Dan and Brady don't know.
Oh, man.
He's influenced by REO.
That's right.
I see
REO
Dan and Charles
Speedwagon.
though. Yeah. Oh yeah. REO. Yeah.
Yeah.
REO Speed had that. Yeah. But Dan and Charles, you kind of like accomplished what I've always wanted to do,
Sure.
because my band was just always very serious. We wrote about technology taking over the world and everything was going to hell. And that was our theme. We just live in this thing that's just gonna control us all. Wait a minute, it actually happened. Shit. Well, anyway, here we are, and all my songs came true, and so now your songs are probably gonna come true because you guys, honestly, I love listening not just to your music but to your little video things there. I love your
They're great.
humor. Me and Mark were just dying laughing, even just tonight, reviewing all this stuff, and I don't know what it is about you guys. You guys are just so smart and funny that I can't believe you haven't gotten super big already. But I'm out there pushing you guys' name around and now have the shirt to go with it and a QR code and a sticker to put on somewhere I'm not supposed to.
Exactly. There we go.
I'm doing all that. And
Well, we appreciate it. It's you having us on, and everything is just it's just such a good. It feels so good that you guys are behind us, and that it's working. That we're not just doing this, and our mom likes it, and that's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys are really reinforce us to keep going, that it's working and people do like it and stuff, because we don't know, we don't
No.
we've heard it so much we don't even know if it's good. So
it's good.
So you guys, we really appreciate you guys having us on.
Oh yeah.
And
we love your attitude. Me and
we'll
Mark were
back
just
anytime.
talking. Yeah, we were just talking about that, me and Mark. It's a brick by brick thing. You can't just, something could explode, but at least for now, we're making all these great friends, Eric, Brady,
really
you
are.
guys, and it just keeps going and going and going. And we're just making this big something, and it's going to be glorious one day.
It is.
And I'm just having such a great time, and it's so great to see all you again. And come back soon, okay? Please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
All right.
Yes.
Great.
Everybody share everything with everybody, and we'll see you online. All right.
Yeah.
Say
All
hi.
right.
All right. Great to see you guys.
Subscribe,
All right.
share.
Yep, you too.
Excellent.
Take care, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, click on this playlist to watch even more. And as always, thank you so much for watching.